To go now. They're off racing. They go over 6 furlongs here. The second division of this place, though, Maiden Auction Stakes, and a decent start made by Janeiro. Richard Kingscote visor first time with on the inside Private Ollie on the rail going into second place. Bustled along in third is Safari Special. Hot Pursuit's Pink Jacket is racing just behind these. Snow Fairy in fifth place. Then comes the orange cap of Flaming Miracle on the inside. At this stage, place being driven furiously. Orset Lad towards the back of the pack together there with Baby Dotty. And the one that's hopelessly tailed off is Trade Fell. Coming down the hill then past the 3 furlong marker, Janeiro on the inside. Pressed now by Safari Special's red cap on the outer, going equally well, you'd have to say, as they swing the turn. Wide into the straight there, Baby Dotty, and the green jacket's running well. Here comes Snow Fairy with a charge and blistering run between horses. Takes her to the front here, coming inside the final 1.5. It's Snow Fairy with Baby Dotty on the outside, just hanging in, looking a bit inexperienced. Snow Fairy pouring it on as she races inside the final furlong. She's got this wrapped up pretty comfortably. A couple of reminders from Kirsty Milsharek, hardly necessary, because Snow Fairy's clearly come on a lot for her first run, and she's too good for them. Wins by about 3.5 lengths. Second, Baby Dotty ran well. Third was Hot Pursuits. Then a bit of a gap behind these to Orset Lad.
I'm smiling there because beforehand I was desperately trying to get an interview with Kirsty Milsharek, who said she didn't know too much about this filly, but she was really looking forward to the ride and was a little bit superstitious. But there we go. Well done.
To come forward ahead of this listed Blue Square Height of Fashion Stakes. 10 furlongs the trip, and Wedding March in stall 8. Here's Richard.
Wedding March completing the line. And they're off from the stall. Snow Fairy took a full step, just knuckled briefly. The rider did well to sit tight, as early on Deirdre it is who is sent forward ahead of Pipette. Having slightly missed the start, Wedding March is making ground through the field to sit in third place, just ahead of Bint Doyen in the yellow with the white cap, who's currently in fourth. The Hera in the striped cap, blue and white, differentiate from the black cap Mudara, who's just about last. And Snow Fairy, after that slight mishap at the start, is held up in rear, just preceded by Bella Swan. So the pace is just steady at this point. Deirdre it is who's cutting it out. Wedding March continues to move through now into second place and make ground. In third, up on the outside, is Bint Doyen of Pipette as they continue this steady climb. Bella Swan is in fifth place ahead of the Hero, who's in sixth ahead of Madara, and at the rear of the field remains Snow Fairy. So making their journey inside the final 6 furlongs. Deirdre leading by a length from Wedding March and Bint Doyen. Steady progress through the field by Bella Swan to share fourth place at the moment with Pipette as they prepare to begin the descent into the home straight. In sixth place is the Hera, just ahead of Mudara as they make their journey downhill. It's Deirdre who set no more than an even pace. Wedding March in second place with Bint Doyen in third place. Towards the inside is Pipette, just ahead of Bella Swan, then Thahira, Mudara, and last of all Snow Fairy. Been quite tactical to this point. And now out in the centre, Frankie Dettori asks Wedding March to commit and put some pressure on Deirdre, who still travels better. Bella Swan's made good ground through the field. Towards the inside is Pipette. Labouring Wedding March is inconvenienced by Snow Fairy pulling out. Snow Fairy improving herself. So it's Deirdre. Rab Havlin still out in front from Pipette in second. Then in third place is Snow Fairy. Bella Swan can't go on. No show at all from Thahira, although Madara's trying to stay on. And down the outside, Snow Fairy is now being produced to challenge Deirdre. Pipette is the horse in between the pair. Snow Fairy just lying right-handed under pressure, but has come from last to first, and it's beginning to extend away. Pipette is second, Deirdre in third. Despite an uncomfortable beginning, at the end, Snow Fairy's well on top. Wins by 3 lengths. Pipette was second ahead of Deirdre. In fourth was Madara, and Bella Swan was back in fifth.
The pretenders fluff their lines, and Snow Fairy, a consistent and useful juvenile, has opened her 3-year-old account in style. For the first time of asking, and at odds of 12-1, the unlucky Prestige Stakes runner-up. For trainer Ed Dunlop and jockey Eddie Ahern, he's had a good run of things of late. Snow Fairy has taken the Blue Square Height of Fashion Stakes. Good run from Pipette, who looks a solid, listed, borderline Group 3 filly. And the third, Deirdre, who cut out the running under a canny ride from Robert Havlin, has confirmed that she is slowly but surely on the upgrade. The Hero got very warm beforehand and never really enjoyed herself. Wedding March was in a position to strike, and she was desperate, I'm afraid, that Marcel Boussac fourth. And back to the drawing board with her. Ed Dunlop, however, can look forward to some more riches with Snow Fairy, who's won this pretty impressively, Steve.
She's running very impressively.
She's by Intikab, who was a champion miler.
Yep.
and she's out of a mare by Charnwood Forest. It doesn't immediately scream that she's going to be effective over middle distances, but she's got every yard of a reasonably well-run 10 furlongs, and she wasn't stopping at the finish.
Yeah, but there are some in the family who stay, Oath figures in the family, and there's other members who are middle distances, and clearly she takes after them. She's got the trip. It wasn't a massively strongly run race, but the time's only a couple of seconds above standard, and she's got the trip very well. There's no question that she gets this and probably stay a little bit further.
Just looking at that again, the trainer of the winner's father, John Dunlop, I think will be quite pleased with the run of Mudara. That a little bit more there today.
It was better. I say she looks a bit better than she did at Newmarket, and she's run a bit better, but she's still some way off a 2-year-old form. Remember, she was very closely matched with this winner on the Prestige Stake form.
Ed Dunlop has his horses in fair shape. Ferrier, a good winner for him at York last week. Snow Fairy obliging at listed level today, and she's returned a pretty big price as well.
She is the one, along with Wedding March, making her seasonal debut. Wedding March was shocking, and Snow Fairy was very good indeed.
Never mind the likeliest winner, I find it a very hard race to put together, price-wise, form-wise. It's a fascinating race, really. Gertrude Bell's a standout bet at the price, but she could finish 5th and run very well.
Aviate has emerged as the strong favourite in the end, the 7-2 favourite, or thereabouts. She will go off for the Investec Oaks Group 1, the 2010 edition for the middle distance Group 1 for fillies. The last few just going forward for the Investec Oaks 2010. Let's join Richard Hoyles.
Bikini Babe heads in. 2 left to go. Ramouche and Champagne Lifestyle for the Investec Oaks. The last one in, all 15 are loaded. And they're off and racing then for the Investec Oaks. And through the early strides, Aviate jumps out alertly from stall number 1. And along with Merida Medici is racing in a handy position. Champagne Lifestyle and Sager are side by side. Actorina presses on as they make their way through the first furlong. And it's now Actorina who's moving through to lead with a flick of the tail from Merida Medici, who races in second place. Gertrude Bell is improving on the outside of Bikini Babe. Sager drops back into about 5th or 6th place on the outside of Champagne Lifestyle. Ramouche tracks Aviate with awe-inspiring in midfield in company with Timepiece at this stage. Kaylee House is under restraint towards the rear of the field in the very early strides, and also towards the back, Remember When, who's crossed to the fence with Snow Fairy as another towards the rear of the field. So beginning to settle down, climbing all the time, and it's Actorina who leads from Merida Medici, and Gertrude Bell up on the outside racing in 3rd. Champagne Lifestyle with Aviate 4th and 5th ahead of Bikini Babe and Ramouche in midfield. Sager's dropped in to mid-division on the outside of the white face of Timepiece, then towards the inside, Awe-Inspiring. Meisner comes next as they prepare to turn downhill and make the descent. Cabaret is towards the rear of the field. Making a couple of places is Remember When. Kaylee House on the outside of Snow Fairy are the last pair. So Actorina begins the turn now downhill, past halfway, leading from Merida Medici and Gertrude Bell. 3 wide for Champagne Lifestyle of Aviate and Bikini Babe. Ramouche also on the fence on the inside of Timepiece and Sager in midfield. Then Meisner from behind these Remember When. Kaylee House is towards the outside with Snow Fairy. Cabaret is pushed along and Awe-Inspiring another to be in trouble. There's a bit short of room there up the inside. Remember When as Actorina begins to try and wind it up on straightening. It's Actorina who leads for Ireland. Merida Medici and Gertrude Bell the closest pursuers. Champagne Lifestyle in 4th on the outside of Aviate. Ramouche towards the inside. Changing course Bikini Babe. Meisner tries to stay on with Cabaret. Still Actorina leads Merida Medici, and on the outside Gertrude Bell. Aviate pulled out into 4th place. Meisner running a mighty race. Ramouche in traffic. Snow Fairy in traffic as Remember When pulls out with a determined challenge. On the fence Actorina, Remember When and Meisner running a mighty race. Then Gertrude Bell and Snow Fairy thundering home from the back of the field inside the final 150. Snow Fairy in red and yellow from Meisner and Remember When, and Snow Fairy colliding with the inside running rail on a couple of occasions, but doing enough and supplemented will gain the biggest payday by winning the Oaks.
Snow Fairy beat Miesner, third Remember When, in fourth place was Ramouche, Gertrude Bell in fifth, and Actorina in sixth.
Seasonal debut. She cost £20,000 to supplement. She's worth every penny of that and vastly more.
We're just seeing the captions there, first, second and third, all came from a long way off the pace, and yet it seemed that Actorina had her own way out in front, apart from Gertrude Bell, who snapped at a slight from a long way out. Kevin Manning seemed to have a good time of it up front, but those big players came from a long way back. Gertrude Bell just couldn't get past Actorina. Remember When had come and got past them all. Then Miesner looked as though she was likely to win. Ryan Moore ducking to the rail, got a great run out of Snow Fairy, and all those breeding pundits are tearing up their pedigree books. They all said she wouldn't stay. She stayed, and she just got the better of Miesner.
And she's so malleable as well. She's weaving in and out of the field. Now, it might be that they've gone a bit too fast in front, that our eyes have deceived us, that actually to get to the front, Actorina has been forced to go too fast, and hence it is easier to come to the back between weakening horses and look impressive. But she's so malleable. She's switched to the far side. She's handled in the camber. Miesner's had a little bit of trouble in running. She got a bump from Bikini Bay, but she's come here with every chance.
But the winner's had trouble in running, to weave a passage, to weave a way through, and Moore has extricated her from that trouble with the aid of the horse, and she just bumped the rail at the closing stages there. Maybe that's why she was just faltering close home, and Miesner nearly got back up again.
If the pace is too strong, then both Gertrude Bell and Actorina emerge with great credit, because they're in the sixth. Ramouche has come from mid-division, and she's finished about fifth. She's short of room there. Look at Richard Hills. He's looking for a run. He gets Remember When crossing in front of him. He's still looking for a run. He gets a bump from Snow Fairy. She's had a rough ride in the closing stages, but she hasn't had the pace, the manoeuvrability of the winner.
Well, you see the winner's power-packed effort. The sort of speed she showed to go clear at Goodwood has taken her to the front there. And she's wandered, perhaps, when she hit the rail, but had enough to hold Miesner, who's found traffic difficulty herself. You have to stay to win a classic like this. And this filly has... Well, it's an absolute fairy's tale. That's a word that's probably overused. But when you buy a filly for something like 1,500 quid and you end up winning a classic, it is a fairy tale.
A real Cinderella story. Snow Fairy has won the 2010 Investec Oaks. It's a first Oaks victory for Ryan Moore. He rides Workforce, of course, in the Derby tomorrow. And it's a second for her trainer, Ed Dunlop, who won it with Ouija Board back in 2004. It was a bold call from him and connections to Supplementer. They have been richly rewarded.
Richly indeed. Snow Fairy, the champion jockey, reminding everyone why he's the champion jockey. Currently, Ryan Moore returning on this 9-1 and in the end well-backed winner of the Investec Oaks, beating Miesner.
The little signal given and they're ready to go, and the way they jump in the Darley Irish Oaks and in the early stages up there towards the inside, dance on by also prominent Miss Jean Brodie and crossing over Ice Empress, and it's Ice Empress who leads now from Actorina right of the picture in the blinkers. Just behind them is Lady Lupus. Miesner close up in fourth. Desert Sage running a bit freely, followed on the inside by Miss Jean Brodie, but Ice Empress leads. Actorina they're followed in third place by Lady Lupus, then Miesner, then Desert Sage, followed by Miss Jean Brodie. As they continue along the far side of the course and head up towards the 1 1/4 mark, it's Ice Empress by over a length to Actorina. Lady Lupus is third, Miesner 4. 3-length gap then to Desert Sage, then Miss Jean Brodie. They're followed by Elda Lil. Then comes Awe-Inspiring. Snow Fairy, the Epsom Oaks winner, is next. As they race along now towards the mile mark, and Ice Empress is the leader, followed in second place by Actorina. Lady Lupus is a couple of lengths back in third place. Miesner is fourth, and a 4-length break to Desert Sage, then Miss Jean Brodie. Elda Lil, Awe-Inspiring, Snow Fairy, Hibayib, then Crystal Gal. And further back in the field is Dance On By with Brazilian Beauty. Then Remember When towards the back, and King's Vintage is last of all as they race up the hill. And it's Ice Empress and Johnny Levy in the lead by a good 5 lengths or more. Followed in second place by Actorina. Lady Lupus is third. Miesner squeezed along in fourth. Desert Sage, green and white colours, then Miss Jean Brodie. Elder Lil is just behind these, then awe-inspiring, then Snow Fairy, Hibayib. Crystal Gal is behind them with Brazilian Beauty, and behind these is Dance On By. King's Vintage and Remember When towards the back of the field as they race down towards the turn in. Ice Empress, Lady Lupus in second, Actorina between them, Misna in pursuit in fourth, and then there's a break of 4 to 5 lengths back to Miss Jean Brodie, and it's Lady Lupus and Actorina from Misna. Ice Empress drops away. Snow Fairy begins to make ground on the outside in the yellow and red as they run down the straight. Over 2 to go. Lady Lupus, Actorina. Here comes Misna with the white face on the outside. The yellow and red colours of Snow Fairy. And as they race now inside the last furlong and a half, Snow Fairy has come there to take it up from Misna. Lady Lupus, Actorina, Miss Jean Brodie, and awe-inspiring as they race towards the final furlong. It's Snow Fairy who's clear. Snow Fairy and Ryan Moore clear from Lady Lupus, running a big race in second, followed in third place by Misna, and then on the outside Miss Jean Brodie. But Snow Fairy has absolutely trounced the opposition here, wins the Oaks, completes the double. Miss Jean Brodie is second, Lady Lupus is third under Joseph O'Brien, fourth place for Misna.
Trying as hard as they can. Mesna is there in the centre, but the winner appears on the outside, and there was only going to be one result. Ryan Moore, I think, only gives her one smack. She looses to the front there, but a furlong and a half down, and he lets her roll over towards the rail, gives her a crack with his right hand. She gives her all tail a flick, but I wouldn't mind that. She's running as straight as a gun barrel, and she quickens up well, and was a very impressive winner of an Irish Oaks. She's a dual winner of both Oakses now. It's a hard thing to do, and she's
one of the best ones that you could.
I think the best in terms of anticipation. We've often had some very good fillies. 3 of them, can't remember that before. There may have been, but I can't remember it.
Okay, Sariska will go off favourite. 9 to 4 she is currently. Snow Fairy a midday just following her. Right, they're all in. Let's join Stuart.
Set. They're off, and Sariska has planted herself and has refused to leave the stalls. Sariska has refused to jump out and has been left in the stalls. The other 7 have come away to a pretty good line for the Darley Yorkshire Oaks, but no sign of Sariska coming out, and the rest have already gone. A furlong and a half drama as the stalls opened, and the front-running Bathsheba with ears pricked is a couple of lengths clear to Hibayeb, Flying Cloud with a white cap close up against the fence. Then Midday tracking the leading trio, Snow Fairy towards the far side in the red and yellow jacket. Misna is next, and Eleanor Dews in the pale silks is last of the 7 that consented to race, but Sariska, who went into the stalls okay, flatly refused to come out, and the remaining 7 meander their way across the Nasemire and down towards halfway in the Darley Yorkshire Oaks, led by the one-eyed mare Bathsheba, tracked by Flying Cloud towards the far side, Frankie Dettori in the all-blue aboard Hibayeb. Then a couple of lengths to Midday, Pink Cow for Tom Quealy, tracked by the dual Oaks winner Snow Fairy. Misna, Kieran Fallon against the fence aboard the white-faced filly, and Eleanor Dews seeking to give Sir Michael Stout an unprecedented 10th Yorkshire Oaks is just last under Olivier Pellier as they move down now to the halfway point. Bathsheba just upping the ante, strides a couple of lengths clear from Flying Cloud, 3 lengths to Hibayeb, who chases the leading pair. Working back to Midday and Snow Fairy as they swing for home, and Bathsheba has set this race alight from some way out, passing the 5. She's 2 lengths clear, chased by Flying Cloud. Hibayeb is bustled along in third. Bathsheba heading towards the near side with an advantage now of a little over 4 lengths from Flying Cloud. Away to the right, Midday's improving stylishly. Hibayeb now rather more firmly driven along by Dettori. Snow Fairy red sleeves is asked to close. Misna and Eleanor Dews a little outpaced. Down to the final 3. Bathsheba being reeled back by Midday, who comes there absolutely cruising. Flying Cloud ridden along. Snow Fairy in behind, caught in a pocket, angling for a run. Quealy takes an alternate look in behind as they pass the 2. He asks Midday to stretch. She quickens a couple of lengths clear. Snow Fairy goes off in pursuit. Eleanor Dews staying on from the rear with Misna. Midday down towards the last furlong. Asked to lengthen. She stretches away from Snow Fairy, who's surely chasing a shadow. She begins to drift off a true line. Midday has a bit of a wander around, but she's not for catching. And Midday drawing away. It's a 4th Group 1. Midday wins the Darley Yorkshire Oaks for Colin Abdullah, Henry Cecil and Tom Quealy, an 8th Group 1. Snow Fairy was 2nd, Eleanor Dews was 3rd, and Misna in 4th in a dramatic race.
Sensational in so many meanings of the term. The Darley Yorkshire Oaks has gone to midday. Tom Queally riding for Henry Cecil. She showed her quirks in the closing stages once again, but this time she only had to go to win her race once. Once was enough. She had the 3-year-old filly, the unbeaten Snow Fairy, quelled when she went to the front, and Snow Fairy was always chasing her shadow on the way home. And she has finished an honourable second for Richard Hughes and Ed Dunlop. And in third is Eleanor Aduse, who has indeed improved for the extra 2 furlongs. She's grabbed third place for Olivier Pellier and Sir Michael Stout. Fourth is Miesnar for Kieran Fallon and David Lanigan. But that 1, 2, 3, 4, and indeed the first 7 home means that we have lost one key player right at the very start. Sariska, having shown no signs of this sort of behaviour before in her career, in her life, to my knowledge, refused to start here.
Extraordinary. I mean, just
behind her when midday struck for home, and there is an argument to say that, you know, maybe she could have been better positioned there, but the distance by which she's been beaten and the fact that she's not able to make any inroads whatsoever, it's got nothing to do with that.
No, and the fact that midday's then giving away probably that ground weight into her left, and Snow Fairy's run straight as a gun barrel. No, I mean, she's run great, and she's much the second best filly in the race. So I'm impressed with the way she beat Miesnar, who incidentally, one, has run well, and two, I'd be very interested if she ran the Ledger. I think she's an out-and-out stayer. Miesnar, I think, is a real galloping horse. She'd be a good thing for the Park Hill and might be worth a go.
Yeah, they might be tempted to go Park Hill, mightn't they? Because, I mean, looking at her profile overall, she's sort of closed and no cigar. She's in the St Ledger, though. No, is she? Yes, she is in the St Ledger.
Yeah, the Park Hill is the obvious one because she'd be a warm favourite and she probably ought to win. But they'll be tempted, won't they? They will be tempted, and she will, I think, very likely say. They might go there with Snow Fairy. Whether Snow Fairy stays, time will show. But she's a
17頭のゲートインが終わりました。スタートしました。さあ先行争いです。セラフィックロンプ、アパパネがじわーっと前に出ていきます。ブライティアパルスも前に、そして最内をつきましてテイエムプリキュア後位の位置につけました。さらに外からはじわじわとリトルアマポーラも幾分前目に行きました。アパパネはこの馬群の中です。そしてアニメートバイオ、そしてその後の集団最内をつきましてはコロンバスサークルが行っています。ノーフェアリー、そしてその後方集団ですが名勝ベルーガ、光るアマランサス以下追走して1コーナーカーブ、最内をつきましてスルッと今テイエムプリキュアが逃げます。リードは体半分、2番手セラフィックロンプ、その2馬身後方ですがブライティアパルスは3番手、その後は4、5馬身馬群が開きました。リトルアマポーラ単独4番手を進んでいます。その後にアパパネ、さらにはスノーフェアリー、アニメートバイオ、アーベイが外目から内コロンバスサークル、間をつくように名勝ベルーガ、内体半分差ゼッケン7番サンテミリオンは中段から幾分後方寄りです。光るアマランサス、そしてムードインディゴ、そのうちにレジネッタ、後方から3頭目を進んでいるゼッケン14番アースシンボルが行っております。そして後方から2頭目には18番のシングライクバード、最後方追走サンレイジャスパーという体勢です。スタートしての 1000m、 1分0秒1で各馬が通過していきます。さあ飛ばします。後続を突き放しています。テイエムプリキュア、リードは8馬身ぐらいあります。2番手セラフィックロンプ、そして3番手ブライティアパルスで、さあ3コーナー坂の頂上へとかかります。ケレン味のない逃げ、国分京介残り800を通過。2番手の1セラフィックロンプ、ブライティアパルスは3番手、そしてその後は4、5馬身馬群が開いていますが、外からじわっと今リトルアマポーラが足を伸ばし始めて、その内々にいるのがコロンバスサークル、アパパネ、アーベイ、スノーフェアリー固まっています。サンテミリオンはその後手が追っつけながら動いています。ゼッケン9番の名勝ベルーが中段馬群の内目幾分後方よりか。さあ第4コーナーカーブから直線コースへと向かいます。テイエムプリキュア先頭、今年は逃げます。テイエムプリキュア先頭ですが、さあ2番手集団ずらっと広がった中、内からコロンバスサークル、外からはセラフィックロンプが接近、さらにはブライティアパルス、内々をついてスノーフェアリーがすんごい足、内をついたスノーフェアリーが伸びてきた。さあその後の後続集団ですが、アパパネ連れて外からはリトルアマポーラ、大外から名勝ベルーが2番手に上がってきたが、先頭はスノーフェアリーゴールイン。なんとスノーフェアリーライアン・ムーア、アイルランド、そしてイギリスのオークスはスノーフェアリー、外国馬として初めてこのエリザベス女王杯を制しました。
Racing, and there's a lovely line out of the gates. Plonter taken back, Glass Hamanium likewise. Packing winner Super Pistachio jumped well, and so did Cirrus de Zeg and Stace leader from deep out, and Packing winner's got the advantage of the rails. Cirrus de Zeg moves up the outside of Stace leader, and Super Pistachio drops in to enjoy the box seat position early. Frankie's got Plonter into a nice spot on the outside of Super Saturn. A length further back to Erie, and then Straputra on the fence is over racing. A length and a half then to Collection, who switches off. 2 further back to Vision Guitar, Glass Harmonium, Snow Fairy with 1 behind her being Regan as they work to the back of the course. And it's Packing Winner the leader at the 1300 metres by 3/4 to Cirrus de Zeg, who's got across nicely this year. Tucked in third, Super Pistachio, 4 Stacer leader a touch keener. So Super Saturn blinkered for the second time, followed by Plonteur the other. A length then to Sraputra on the inside of Irian. 2 further back to Collection, Glass Harmonium, Vision Guitar, Snow Fairy, and last of all is Regan as they work down the back of the course. And it's Packing Winner striding along at his own pace, out by a length to Cirrus de Zeg, Super Pistachio, then Stacer leader, followed by Super Saturn and Plonteur in striking distance. A half length to Sraputra the rails, 2 further back to Irian, then Glass Harmonium, Collection. There shouldn't be any hard luck stories this year. He's got plenty of galloping room, and he's got Vision Guitar a length behind him and in a pocket as they travel to the turn. Snow Fairy's hugging the rails and a length off to Regan as they turn. Vision Guitar out into the open now as they turn. Packing Winner in front from Cirrus de Zeg. Super Pistachio comes off from Stacer leader. Super Saturn's looking for a run. Irian runs on with purpose together with Plonteur. Snow Fairy's angling into the clear and the fillies cutting loose. Collection and Vision Guitar are next. It's anybody's race and Irian hits the lead with Snow Fairy gunning it down. Snow Fairy races up to Irian. What a stellar season for the British 3-year-old filly. Snow Fairy blouses out Irian. Packing Winner ran a cheeky race, then Plonteur and Vision Guitar. Super Saturn a touch unlucky, then Stacer leader from Regan. Super Pistachio, Sraputra, Glass Harmonium and Collection was among the tail enders. Well, she's run a worthy favourite. She's come from second last, and Snow Fairy, carrying the weight of the grandstand at 6-4, has bloused out Irian. And a great go for third, Packing Winner on the fence, and Vision Guitar the outside. There's very little in it for third, and I have a slight preference for Packing Winner on the fence, but it's close. Snow Fairy, well, tremendous season, winning the English Oaks, the Irish Oaks, but I really think it was the win in Japan that won the hearts of many.
With Richard Hoyles.
And they're off and racing. Jump away then for the Markel Insurance Nassau Stakes, and the 3-year-old Barefoot Lady is sent on into the early lead. In the noseband, just ahead of Field Day. Midday drops into third place this early stage with Crystal Capella and Snow Fairy racing in fifth, and Principal Roll is held up at the rear of the field as they race through the first couple of furlongs. And it's Barefoot Lady cutting out the running for Paul Hannigan, leading by about 2 lengths from Field Day in second, with a similar break to Midday, who toes up the 3 big guns, Crystal Capella in the dark blue and yellow. Then the red and yellow of Snow Fairy, and still at the rear of the field is Principal Roll. Just an even pace being set by Barefoot Lady. In fact, if anything, has just steadied it down a touch or two, and Ears Pricked is having a good look around as they climb uphill towards the 6th. Field Day in second. The steadying pace has resulted in the field compressing slightly. Midday in third is now about 3 lengths off the lead. Crystal Capella, Snow Fairy, and at the rear of the field is Principal Roll. So Paul Hannigan stacking them up on Barefoot Lady as they begin to turn downhill. Field Day in second. Midday, Pink Cap on the outside of Crystal Capella. Snow Fairy yet to make a move. Likewise, Principal Roll. Barefoot Lady and the field now really are compacted. Barefoot Lady still sitting quietly in front, no move yet to increase the pace as they freewheel downhill with Field Day, Midday on the outside. Crystal Capella, mindful maybe of the stamina, Jimmy Fortune nips up the inside and is the first one to try and press. Barefoot Lady is a bit squeezed with Field Day. Midday moves to the outside, Snow Fairy shadowing Midday's every move, so now it is a dash for home. Field Day the outsider, Barefoot Lady battling on. Crystal Capella, the white face, Midday poised, Snow Fairy on her girths, and now Midday is just shaken up and asked to commit. Snow Fairy comes after her. Crystal Capella is battling on the inside. Midday, who can lose concentration out in front, is still a couple of lengths clear from Snow Fairy and Crystal Capella, and it's Midday who's a couple of lengths in advance of Snow Fairy, who's trying to rally on the inside, but Midday smoothly is going to round off a terrific week for Tom Quealy, Sir Henry Cecil and Khalid Abdallah, and win her third Markel Insurance Nassau Stakes. Midday beats Snow Fairy and Crystal Capella. Behind those in fourth, Principal Roll, Barefoot Lady and Field Day.
And they didn't go much pace, and she still did it easily, even more easily than she has done the last 2 years. Midday 6-4 favourite, never too many moments concern. for supporters of this admirable, gutsy, tough and versatile mare, who's obliged once again and makes it 3 out of 3 in the Nassau and 6 at the top level for the
starts, and away they go in the Red Mills Irish Champion Stakes, and Roddy O'Connor goes straight to the lead, followed by So You Think on the inside. Restrained on the outer is Recital, just been passed by Famous Name. Snow Fairy towards the inside. Dunboyne Express brings up the rear as they head down to complete the first couple of furlongs, and Roderick O'Connor and Joseph O'Brien in the lead by 3 lengths to the hot pot. So You Think and Shamie Heffernan in second. They're followed in third place by Famous Name, disputing that position with Snow Fairy, and just over 2 lengths behind them Recital races on the outside of Dunboyne Express as they race on past the 7, and Roddy O'Connor, the Irish 2000 Guineas winner, with a 4-length advantage over So You Think in second, Snow Fairy in third, then Famous Name, then Dunboyne Express, and Recital brings up the rear. Continuing now towards the end of the back straight with over 5 furlongs to cover, Roderick O'Connor leads by 3 to So You Think in second, 2.5 lengths away Snow Fairy, Frankie Dettori, then comes Famous Name, Dunboyne Express, and finally Recital as they go into the turn to leave the back straight, over half a mile to race, and Roderick O'Connor the leader, tracked by the hot favourite So You Think in second, then comes Snow Fairy on the inside in third, the yellow and red colours, Famous Name in 4, and then Dunboyne Express, followed by Recital as they come towards the 3. Roderick O'Connor the leader from So You Think in second, Snow Fairy in third, and then comes Famous Name as they swing into the straight with 2.5 to go. Roderick O'Connor's made all the runnings. So You Think poised in second, Snow Fairy about to be switched, and So You Think ranges up now to take the lead. Snow Fairy comes in pursuit. So You Think the leader, Snow Fairy coming on the near side, and it's So You Think pressed all the time by Snow Fairy as they race towards the final furlong. So You Think on the far side, Snow Fairy the near side. They've gone away from Famous Name inside the final furlong. So You Think on the far side. Snow Fairy really putting it up to him as they race the line. So You Think driven out by Shamie Heffernan, wins it, his 8th Group 1 win. Second Snow Fairy, big run from her. Famous Name is third. Dunboyne Express, Roderick O'Connor on a long way back to Recital. 4-1 on favourite, the shortest price favourite in the history of the Irish Champion Stakes at Leopardstown. He's won, but he's had to battle. Snow Fairy really put it up to him.
He sets about him here and he goes a length or 2 clear, but the 2 of them quicken up well. They're pretty huge gap between themselves and the others, and as hard as both a Famous Name tries, he can't close that gap, and the mare really rallies well.
Yeah, really, here now I thought she just could have him, and but then he kept finding a bit, and they've drawn well clear of Famous Name, so yeah, it was great to see such a good race. There was a great finish to it.
They were the 2 class horses of the race. They both won 4.
収まります。18頭スタートしました。さあ正面スタンド前、注目の先行争いです。広がっています。ホエールキャプチャー、内から行きますが、外から内にコースを取りながら新明富士がまず花を叩いていきました。ホエールキャプチャー2番手、アパパネ3番手、アニメートバイオ、さらにはグルベイグ、そしてレーブ・ディソールも好位の一角取り付いて、最内からはアベンチュラが追走してイタリアンレッド、各馬1コーナーカーブしていきます。まずは新明富士がラップを刻みます。後続を6馬身7馬身8馬身突き放して大逃げです。2番手の位置ですが、単独2番手ホエールキャプチャーが追走しております。その後ですが3番手アニメイトバイオ、アパパネと続いてグルベイグ、その後にイタリアンレッド、そしてアベンチュラ、あとは下がりまして中段の位置にレーブ・ディソール控えました。あとは内体半分差ワルキューレ、レインボーダリア、そしてその外差がなく並んでいるレディ・アルバローザ、中段の幾分後方よりブロードストリート、そしてその後方からは15番のエリンコートが追走しております。あとは下がりました18番のスノーフェアリーは後方から5、6頭目といったところ、あとは下がりましてフミノイマージンです。そして外1馬身差の位置には14番のダンシングレイン控えています。後方から2頭目ゼッケン6番のサンテミリオン、最後方追走ですが13番オールザットジャズという体勢でさあ先頭逃げています。12番の新明富士残り800を通過、後続を10馬身以上と突き放して今3、4コーナー中間です。単独2番手の位置ですがホエールキャプチャーがつけています。3番手アパパネアニメイトバイオは4番手、そしてその後ですがグルベイグが追走してイタリアンレッド、アベンチュラ差がなく並んで残り600を通過、そしてその後方からはワルキューレ、さらには9番のレインボーダリアなど、さあ第4コーナーカーブから直線コースへと向かいました。さ さあ新明富士頑張っている、新明富士頑張っている。まだ7馬身から8馬身とリードがあります。しかしホエールキャプチャーが追い詰めてくる。すれてアパパネが上がってくる。さらにはアベンチュラも上がってくる。さらに後続集団ですがイタリアンレッド、フミノイマージンなど追い込んでくる。そして内々をつきましてはレインボーダリアだ。さあずらっと広がって今度はホエールキャプチャー、ホエールキャプチャー、アパパネが来た。アベンチュラ、アパパネ、そしてスノーフェアリーだ。スノーフェアリーがアベンチュラ、スノーフェアリー並ぶように合輪。しかしスノーフェアリー、スノーフェアリー、スノーフェアリーが間をついて伸びてまいりました。外からアベンチュラも給水。しかしわずかに間、スノーフェアリーがこの外のアベンチュラを抑えきって人馬でエリザベス女王杯を連覇です。
Stakes and away they bounce. Nathaniel on the inside, light heavy. Daddy Longlegs towards the outside as they race down through the first furlong, and as expected, Daddy Longlegs skips away into a 4-length lead, followed in second place by Nathaniel. 3-length gap then to light heavy, and behind light heavy comes Snow Fairy. They're followed by St. Nicholas Abbey, and the back marker, and there's over 15 lengths covering first to last at this stage, is Born to See as they head down towards the 7 furlong marker, and Daddy Longlegs going a real good lick in front by almost 10 lengths to Nathaniel, half a length light heavy. Then there's almost 5 to Snow Fairy, 2.5 lengths back to St. Nicholas Abbey, and behind St. Nicholas Abbey in last place is Born to See as they pass the 6. Daddy Longlegs, Shamely Heffernan, who's won the last 2 runnings of this race. He's 8 lengths clear, followed by Nathaniel. On the inside is light heavy, 6-7 length break then to Snow Fairy, followed by St. Nicholas Abbey, and Born to See brings up the rear as they near the end of the back straight and make the turn with over half a mile to go. Daddy Longlegs leads by about 7 lengths to Nathaniel in second. On the inside light heavy, 4 lengths away Snow Fairy, tracked by St. Nicholas Abbey, and finally Born to See as they leave the back straight behind them and head towards the 3 pole. It's Daddy Longlegs out in front by 5. Nathaniel leads the chase in second. Light heavy, Snow Fairy is next. Then So You Think, and finally Born to See, still 10 lengths covering the field as they race to the home turn. And it's Daddy Longlegs, the leader, 3 in front. Nathaniel being asked to close. A gap to light heavy, Snow Fairy, St. Nicholas Abbey, and Born to See. They're in the straight. They've 2 furlongs to race, and Nathaniel sweeps up into the lead from Daddy Longlegs. Here comes the mare, Snow Fairy, St. Nicholas Abbey on her outside. They have a furlong and a half to go now. Nathaniel and Snow Fairy challenging. St. Nicholas Abbey's in third place. Snow Fairy on the outside of Nathaniel. St. Nicholas Abbey, and it's Snow Fairy, runner up a year ago. She's in front by almost a length from Nathaniel. St. Nicholas Abbey staying on, but Snow Fairy's going to win her 7th Group 1. Snow Fairy wins it. Nathaniel second. St. Nicholas Abbey third. 4th place for light heavy. Born to See, and Daddy Longlegs brings up the rear. So Snow Fairy, this tremendous mare, owned by Anna Moyne Limited, trained by Ed Dunlop, ridden by Frankie Dettori. It's his 5th win in this race, 15-8 second favourite, and she has gone one better than last year and delivered a 7th Group 1 success.
Great rides, 3 great jockeys, and a great result. She's a hell of a mare, Snow Fairy, and a big boost to Ed Dunlop for bringing her back here to win this race after having a serious injury. Full marks to John Warwick for the treatment on her to get her back, because a tear in a tendon in November, to get her back to win 2 Grade 1s 8 months later, in my experience, defies logic. I have never seen a horse with a 45% tear get back on fast ground to win 2 Grade 1s. They might win a handy little race, 3 parts ready. But this was a great performance.
She's an absolute star, isn't she? She's an absolute. There's something very, very special